everyone. Welcome to the Monday Night Comedy Recap Show. I'm your host, Andrew Freund, and I'll be taking you behind the curtain of some of today's most successful comedies. Now, today we're taking a look at this season of How I Met Your Mother, the hit comedy from creators and executive producers Carter Bays and Craig Thomas. From reoccurring gags to classic, legendary lines to the infamous, and my personal favorite, Robin Sparkle's music videos, it's no wonder How I Met Your Mother has been a fan favorite with over 22 million fans for the last 8 seasons. All right, let's dive right in. Let's break it down. Joining me here in studio today are the incomparable Laura Hertzfeld from Entertainment Weekly and the equally as incomparable Michael O'Connell from The Hollywood Reporter. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Now, for those of you who aren't all caught up on all of the showmances, let me break it down for you. So Robin was first with Ted, but then Robin was with Barney, then Barney was with Nora, and then with Quinn. So confusing. You know what? I think Barney can do a better and quicker recap than me. Let's take a look.
7 years ago when Marshall and Lily got engaged, Ted saw Robin across a crowded room and I said, oh yeah, you just know she likes it dirty, but Ted really liked her, so we played Have You Met Ted? They went to dinner, he walked her home, should have kissed her, didn't lame. So he stole a Smurf penis, went back to her place, should have kissed her, didn't lame. He threw 3 parties, they kissed on the roof, but decided to be friends, lame. Then Ted wanted to take Robin to a wedding. She couldn't go, he went alone and met Victoria, didn't kiss her either, lame. Not a great closer, Ted. But he finally kissed her, they started dating, she went to Germany, Ted kissed Robin, lost Victoria, Ted did a rain dance, got Robin, Ted and Robin broke up, Robin moved to Brazil, came back with a Latin stud. Ted got jealous, got a tramp stamp, not really relevant to the story, I just like mentioning that as much as possible. I hooked up with Robin, Ted and I stopped being friends, Ted got hit by a bus, we made up. Robin and I started dating, I got fat, her hair fell out. We broke up, Robin dated Dawn, I dated Nora, cheated on her with Robin, I dumped Nora, Robin dated Kevin, but not for long, and then I met you, and you took my grandpa's watch, but I fell in love with you anyway, and you let me fart in front of you, and I asked you to marry me, and you said yes, and we came over here to meet little Marvin, and that's everything. Also, I went on The Price is Right, and I want a dune buggy.
It's that easy.
Yeah, why are we even here? I mean, Barney did it for us.
I mean, great job, Mr. Stinson. But then, of course, Barney and Quinn break up. Barney makes a move on Robin. Then Robin makes a move on Barney, and now Barney's with Patrice! And Robin is not happy about it.
No.
Did you guys are we got it? Do you think we're kind of caught up?
Yeah,
more or less.
All right, let's talk. How are you guys feeling about season 8? What are we thinking? What are we feeling about it?
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I'm just kind of excited to see, you know, they do get to the altar, so how do we do that with Patrice in the picture?
Yeah, I think the Patrice thing is just the curveball we needed to, like, really push him towards Robin.
Do you guys think it's good? You know, I think that she is not your typical, like, statuesque woman that Barney's usually with. How do you feel about, like, mixing it up with her on the show?
I think she's great. I mean, I think she's hysterical, and it kind of brings this new little element to it. I mean, I think it's really relatable. Everybody sort of has a Patrice at their office,
yeah.
I think.
I think, Michael, you said you're the Patrice at your office.
Yeah. I'm sort of the Patrice at my office.
The Patrice of The Hollywood Reporter.
I'm not the Patrice. I react to the Patrices in a Robin-esque fashion, I think. I generally respond to niceties with biting people's heads off.
Really? So you just like scream?
I know. I'm prone to screaming.
So are we Team Robin and Team Barney? Are you guys rooting for them?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm excited. We've been waiting for this, so it's like, okay, let's get there. And I was on set a couple weeks ago and talking to Kobe, and she was like, yeah, every once in a while I get a Ted believer, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a Ted believer. I'm like ready for Robin and Barney.
I don't understand the Ted believers at this point. I don't think there is any way that they could factually support a Ted Robin situation.
No, that one's over.
I'm briefly on Team Patrice, though, I just have to say.
Team Patrice.
She's very funny.
What would their, like, name be? Like,
Patrice?
Patrice? Okay, so we have...
Patarney.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting because we see in the season premiere that they end up getting married. So when you guys first saw the premiere, what was your reaction that we see them, you know, getting married?
Do they end up getting married, or did they just get to the altar?
True, that's true. We get a glimpse of their wedding, but who knows?
Right.
What was your reaction to that episode?
I think it was just sort of like, all right, this is really fun to see, but now we have a whole season to fill. How are we going to get there?
Yeah. I mean, knowing that they do get there and that they do get engaged, they're not going to pull the rug out from under us again. I think it's pretty safe to say that they're going to get married. And for the people who've wanted to see them together since basically the 2nd season when that sort of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, it's TV. I mean, what if she goes back with Ted?
TV's not mean. TV's kind.
TV is kind. Now, Barney, of course, not the most monogamous person, we've seen on television. Do you think that he could really, be with just one woman? I mean, he wrote the book. He has a playbook.
He burned it.
That's true. That's true. Someone was
not
watching
there
last night.
So, maybe this is it for him. And I think Patrice kind of does, the overcorrection was such a great name for last night's episode, because that is exactly sort of, she represents a hyperbole of that, and it really worked for me.
In the last 2 seasons, we've seen a completely different side of Barney, willing to get engaged to a woman, and for whatever reasons, prenups, it didn't happen.
That prenup was like this big.
I know.
It was gigantic.
And then she had one.
Yeah, that wasn't a good match.
No.
That wasn't a good match.
But I think he's ready, emotionally, to be with just one person.
Do you guys have Barneys and Robins in your own lives?
Well, I mean, I am Robin, so,
You look a little bit like her. You could be her sister.
I'm going to take that as a very high compliment.
Hey, good.
But no, I mean, I connect with that. And I think one of the things I like most about Robin is a woman on TV who has a career and isn't obsessed with having a baby, even though that's a storyline they could have gone down. And, I really I like her character. And obviously, being a journalist, I like sort of seeing that aspect too. But yeah.
How about
I consider myself a Robin-Ted hybrid.
Okay, explain.
Well, Ted, because I'm not actually actively looking to find the mother, but I have so many Marshalls and Lilies in my life.
That's true.
And I think I even currently have third season storyline where Lily was living with Marshall and Ted, and you found out that she had this other apartment that she just hadn't been to in forever, but she was still renting, and they turned it into a Chinese restaurant. I think my roommate's girlfriend. I think
there's a secret apartment somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's a Chinese restaurant now.
Well, the Team Barney and Robin fans couldn't be more excited that they end up together. But what do Barney and Robin think themselves? Our very own CBS.com crew had the opportunity to go to set and talk with Neil Patrick Harris and Colby Smulders to see what they thought about their characters' relationship. Let's take a peek.
Our show is unlike any other in the sense that we like to play with the timeline of things, and I think it was really interesting to start this season with us at the altar.
We know that Robin and Barney end up together, but it's a remarkably complicated road.
How bad is Barney freaking out right now?
Oh, he's fine. I'm serious. He's totally fine.
I have a better tie at home. It's cornflower blue. It's cornflower blue.
Robin and Barney's relationship has always been tumultuous.
I've destroyed every piece of evidence that you and I were ever a couple.
That's ridiculous. You couldn't have gotten rid of all of it. Robin is the ever single girl on How I Met Your Mother. Do you think that you could do sit-ups or something while you talk? And Barney's every single guy.
Every time I go after a busty dullard who can't tell time or thinks I'm the ghost of Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm shallow. But somehow it's okay for Robin to date a guy who can't be trusted around outlets.
This is really the first time in their relationship where they're both wanting to deepen the relationship. I don't quite know how it's going to go yet. It's definitely an interesting coupling.
How much do we love those two?
A lot.
Yeah.
I just want to bring them home.
Yeah.
We're almost there, I think.
That's
true.
So, We're almost there. Now, that was a brief clip and preview of our exclusive on-set behind-the-scenes feature with Neil Patrick Harris and Colby Smulders. Be sure to check back to CBS.com in January to catch the full feature and get a deeper glimpse behind the curtain. Now, let's switch gears here just a little bit. They touched a little bit upon this last night, but we think that Patrice is the right fit for right now?
I think she's a nice little stepping stone to where we need to be. And if we can watch Robin rip her face off along the way, all the better.
Yeah, I think she's really fun to watch. She's just got this kind of great bubbly thing that we don't get from Robin ever. So it's really nice to sort of see how Barney interacts with that.
Why do we think that Barney and Robin are kind of the ultimate match for each other? We're going deep.
They both really like laser tag.
We're psychoanalyzing the show.
I think it goes down to laser tag.
Just laser tag?
Yeah, and I mean, Barney is partly Canadian.
I was going to say, I really do think it comes down to the Canada connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, has to be.
She's Robin Sparkles. Can you sing a Robin Sparkles song?
Oh my God, it's not happening here. It's so not happening here. But I'm going to tell you that I play a lot of Just Dance on the Wii at home, and the moment that Robin Sparkles came on, I freaked out, and I was like, this is the best exercise day ever.
How would you say that Robin and Barney's relationship, you know, affects the overall dynamic of the gang?
Well, I thought this week was interesting because the intervention was, I mean, totally necessary. We, you know, we've all had friends.
I felt bad for her.
I did, but at the same time, like, it's time.
Yeah,
girl.
She needed a little reality check.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I think it gives them something to mediate. It's nice. I think they all want them to be together.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been off the rails.
And she hasn't been herself. I mean, I think that I think Kobe does such a great job of sort of literally being able to see the personality change when she is, you know, Robin obsessed with Barney versus just being Robin.
Yeah.
And it was time to, you know, call her out on it.
They're such a supportive gang. Like, that's what I feel, that's what I like about the show, is that everyone, they all root for each other, you know what I mean? But, you know, speaking of the rest of the gang, nobody knows what makes a relationship more successful like Marshall and Lily. The series began with their engagement, and their relationship is the glue that holds this gang together. Audiences have loved watching their journey, how they got together in college, their breakup, their makeup, their wedding, and even coping with the death of Marshall's father. Now their parents, the adorable Marvin, wait for it, Erickson, and the craziness has only begun.
Well, it's come to this. We're drinking with our baby in a bar.
It is not a bar, it's a restaurant that happens to have a bar. Ergo, we are good parents. Unrelated. I'm getting faced right now. Papa needs a grease coat.
While it is heartwarming to watch your firstborn teethe on a jalapeno popper, wasn't Mickey gonna watch him today?
My dad's out all week. He's got the sniffles.
For someone who survived numerous beatings from loan sharks, he has a surprisingly delicate constitution.
Well, my semester's over and the G&B building is finally done. If you guys want, I'm free to watch Marvin. I'm meeting with a headhunter next week to line up my next project, but until then, what the hell?
Ted, although a what the hell attitude is incredibly sought after in a babysitter, I think that Lily and Marshall
You're hired. Now that we've been parents for a while, we realize that pretty much any moron can take care of a baby.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, we're here with Laura Hertzfeld from Entertainment Weekly and Michael O'Connell from The Hollywood Reporter. So you guys, I mean, how do you feel that Marshall and Lily are adjusting to parenthood?
One of the things that I like best about this season is that, you know, there's always this feeling that, oh, a baby comes onto the show and it's like, oh, you know, nobody wants to watch it anymore.
It's a cute baby.
Well, first of all, it's a cute baby.
It's a very cute child.
But I also think Marshall and Lily have really stayed true to their characters. They haven't changed that much, which is what makes them really relatable. It makes it feel, you know, I have plenty of friends who bring their babies to the bar, so.
A baby can be such a shark jumping move, and I think they've done a really good job of just like limiting his screen time, even though he's adorable and perfectly cast. Congratulations to the real parents. He's so cute.
Good genes. Good genes up there. Good genes.
But yeah, the referencing off camera, that episode with Ted babysitting so much, showing him crawling off the stage, I think that's a really good way to handle those baby moments without being like, let's focus on the baby.
All baby all the time.
Well, because I feel that they're kind of like, they're like parents on the show, you know, to the rest of the crew. So do you feel that, you know, helped prepare them to actually have a child?
Good point.
I like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Psychoanalyzing here.
Yeah.
I think it really did. I mean, Ted's a baby. Ted is their baby. They've been taking care of him for 8 seasons. And now they just have one that they have to change his diapers and is probably less motivated to get married.
I don't think Ted would be so happy to hear that, though.
Probably
Even
not.
though he calls them his parents. It's like, more like, I want to be you when I grow up, not like, you know, you're my parents.
Well, we're seeing, you know, now we're seeing Marshall growing up. He wants to be a judge. I mean, do we think that this career change, does he seem judge-worthy?
I mean, we know from a flash forward that he will be a judge one day, and I think that that's a nice way to move it along. And I really liked that episode.
Yeah.
We won the case, and then it was like, sorry, you're getting like 20 grand for your polluted pond.
Right.
I think it's a a really smart way to push him in that direction.
Yeah.
And I really like seeing Marshall at work, because I feel like we get this sort of, you know, we know who he is at home, and then you see him in the courtroom, and, you know, like all of our friends who we know they have jobs and they go off into the world, but, you know them hanging out on Saturday night. And I think, you know, being able to see him at work, it makes you believe it a little bit more, rather than just like in the back of your head, oh, I know he's a lawyer and wants to be a judge, but you actually see it.
Totally.
Unlike Barney's job, which makes absolutely no sense.
Barney's job is, I have no idea what Barney does.
Fun fact from that episode where we see Marshall in front of the judges. One of the judges, Mr. Belding.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I noticed
Mr.
that.
Belding.
Yeah.
Making the rounds these days.
Yeah, of course he is.
He was on Mad Men or something?
He's come a long way since Bayside.
Yes, but still in a position of authority.
Right.
Definitely. You know, going back to Ted being their child, how do you think that he's coping with, you know, not being the only child now?
Not well.
No, not well at all.
It's not going well for Ted.
It would help if he was a little more gainfully employed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
He needs a distraction.
It's a perfect storm of awful for him. It sort of always is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Perfect storm of awful.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that in my everyday life. But speaking of Ted and him finding the one, the show continues to drop hints as to who the future Mrs. Mosby is. All the while, we've watched Ted become the man he is today and can begin to see a glimpse of the man he wants to become.
That project really was your baby, and now it's over, and you're scared to move on.
I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that building. Though to be fair, a lot of that happened the day I accidentally fell down the elevator shaft. The point is, it's just really hard to let go, especially when that building's my biggest accomplishment. I mean, maybe if I was where you guys are at in life, with all you have to be proud of.
We get it, okay? You're always gonna be Uncle Ted. But if Marvin can't be your next project, you need one of your own. And so we rescheduled your meeting with that headhunter. He's over there.
Which one is he? Thanks, guys. Marvin and I are lucky you're our parents.
How have we seen Ted change over the past 8 seasons?
You know, Ted has a little more changing to do, I think.
Yeah.
He's changed and he hasn't. His MO is still the same, which is good. He's consistent.
Is there like a little, can you relate to him in a way? Because I know you said you relate a lot to Colby's character, but can you relate to Ted in a way, in a sense? Because he's kind of like the everyman. He's trying to figure his things out.
And he's a hopeless romantic, and I think he sees a lot of people around him, you know, getting into these relationships and sort of like, why doesn't it work for me? What am I doing wrong? And, you know, I think that's pretty relatable, although having it go on for 8 seasons like that, it's quite a lot.
It's relatable to a point, but he just tries a little too hard.
Yeah. I do like that he's, well, with the GMB building, that he was doing better at work. And I feel like when he was teaching the class, I really liked sort of seeing that part of him too.
Yeah.
But now I feel like a little sad for Ted.
Okay, so let me pose a challenge here. If you guys were in the writer's room and you could write, you know, his trajectory from now, what would you want to see happen with him?
I think the main objective right now is just getting Barney and Robin together, and then I think that the 4 of them and all of us can just focus our energies on making it work for Ted.
Yeah.
I also think maybe it's time to meet the mother. I mean, I don't know that that needs to be the last reveal of the show. In some ways, I'd like to see what their relationship is going to be and how they meet and all that stuff. So I don't know that that would take away anything from the other stories that are going on.
I would be kind of sad if our last shot of the show is just like, there she is.
Yeah.
See y'all.
I want some payoff.
Is he ready though to meet the mother? I feel like he's still got to grow up. What do you think? Is he ready?
I think that he needs to get a really good job in like the next couple months and sort of focus on that.
Maybe
and
he could be a TV host.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know.
/ architect.
Who knows? / architect.
And then he can meet her.
Yeah, and maybe you don't know when you are ready, you know? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And like the right person comes along and that's what happens. So I don't know that any more Ted dalliances
I don't need another recurring girlfriend. Maxed out on him.
Yeah, exactly. It's time.
Do you think he still has feelings for Robin? I mean, could we ever see them?
I think he's so confused.
Yeah.
I just think he's confused.
I'm
And he
confused.
projects that confusion on the closest thing he had to like being there with a woman, and that was Robin.
Yeah.
And he's never really separated himself from her.
No.
You know, they've
Physically.
tried at all. I mean, she was living there, you
Yeah.
know, and I think it's really difficult to separate those things, and he clearly struggles.
Dr. Drew would have advised against all of the stuff they did.
Oh, and they're
No way.
way off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we touched a little bit about the future Mrs. Mosby. So the show's had amazing guest stars: Chris Elliott, J-Lo, Brittany, Carrie Underwood, Katy Perry. Let's do a little stunt casting here. If we were going to cast the mother, who would we want it to be?
I want an unknown.
Interesting.
I really do.
Okay.
I actually one day after the season premiere found myself looking at IMDb pages of like women in like the right about age who are sort of like fringe, not like really blowing up, but sort of familiar faces, and looking at their calves and their ankles because I'm convinced that it was actually the person in the season premiere. I think that those are the actual calves of the mother.
Yeah, I don't know that I want somebody super famous.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they've done that. I feel like the Britney Spears one was kind of the ultimate of that.
Yeah.
So you can't really like top having somebody like that on the show and then have that be the reveal. There was a moment when I thought Sarah Chalke's character was going to be it, you know, when Stella was going to be the thing.
They have burned that to
and
the
that
ground.
is just like clearly several seasons ago, not happening. So yeah, at this point, I feel like somebody, who you recognize, but you might go, oh yeah.
I want it to be Emma Stone. I don't know why. I love Emma Stone. I think she would be an amazing. You guys are not feeling it. You're not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it. I feel like she permanently belongs with Ryan Gosling in every movie ever. So I can't see her with anyone else. No, just kidding. But I mean, I get it as a pick, but I feel like it needs. I don't know. She's a little too like. They're gonna have this like witty repartee, and it's just not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And he needs somebody who's not that way.
Less
I think.
bantery.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are lucky enough that you guys have actually been on set. Any stories you could share? Anecdotes, hijinks?
Let's see.
What goes on that set?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's got a lot of energy.
And like, do you actually get to sit like in the restaurant? Like, do you get to craft services in the bar?
So I basically drop my bag and then sit at McLaren's because that's sort of next to the rest of the set. So you kind of like walk down and there's the apartment and everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean McLaren's is like my spot. I got my booth.
Yeah.
McLaren's.
I got to hang out in the Robin Sparkles spaceship once.
Oh, I didn't get to do that. I'm jealous.
It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And that episode was way more obscene originally. A lot of stuff didn't get past standards and practices.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to see the
Risque.
GMB conference room. That's
wow.
about as cool as I get.
I was in a spaceship.
Not as fun as spaceship.
What have been some of your guys' favorite moments on the show?
Oh, there's so many.
Memories.
I still love the blue French horn. I think that's still, I'm going
Smurf
way back.
penis, I believe.
love it. I love it. I think it's so sweet. But yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. What are...
It's so depressing to pick this as my answer, but I honestly think the death of Marshall's father was one of the best things I've seen on a comedy, on a multicam sitcom. Like, it blew me away. I loved it, and I don't really care to rewatch it because it took me to a dark place.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant television, and it'll stand as one of my favorite moments on the show.
Well, it's interesting you said it because I feel like it's kind of refreshing to see comedies go serious sometimes because I don't know, we get to see the characters more and how they react to things. Did you feel that way about that moment yourself, or any other moments like that for you?
Well, I thought it was actually really nice this week that Marshall's mom was back on the show because we really haven't seen a whole lot of her. You know, Lily mentions her and stuff, but we haven't seen her come back and see how she's doing after it. And the way that they did it was
mourned a little bit longer for my
before going off.
Yeah.
Before like hooking up with Chris Elliott.
She could have held out also, but you know, it's all right.
I mean, what did you think of her and Chris Elliott hooking up? I was a little bit, you know.
I felt like I kind of knew from the moment she showed up in their apartment a little bit.
I'm so naive.
But really?
I had no left
I was like,
field.
oh, it's going to happen. I know it's going to
I'm so
happen.
dumb.
And then it did. And I was like, oh, okay. But he's hysterical.
Yeah,
so.
my reaction was very similar to Marshall's.
Yeah. Cowering in the
Horror
closet.
in the corner.
Yeah.
And getting sick.
Yeah, physically sick.
What did you make of all of them in Barney's apartment?
Oh, that was great. I mean, the hiding, it was, you know, sort of like that Bye Bye Birdie where they're all on the phone, you know. No, I thought that was great. And it's the little things too. It's everything saying property of Ted Mosby all over the place. And, you know, those little kind of things that they think about to add in that are just really funny.
That whole crew just does physical comedy so well, and that's not something you see that often. Yeah. And I loved the hiding in the apartment.
Is Barney's apartment much like your own?
A lot less grayscale in my apartment. No stormtroopers.
Oh.
I have no like electronics coming down from the ceiling at all.
No like books hidden under samurai swords?
No. That was kind of cool.
That was
thinking about hiding from the books actually.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. Well, you guys, we've come to an end.
I know.
I mean, we could just stay here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll stay.
I'll stay. We'll chat.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm so sorry we've come to an end, but I had such an awesome time. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you. This is great.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome back anytime.
Awesome.
I'll just leave. You guys can live right here. But please don't miss new episodes of How I Met Your Mother, Mondays at 8/7 Central, only on CBS. And get more out of your Mondays with CBS Comedy Mondays on CBS.com, featuring extended previews, video trivia, and behind-the-curtain features of your favorite CBS comedies. I'm Andrew Freund. Thanks so much for watching.